It's time to stop being silent about this. It's time to start this conversation because I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. Time has sped up, and it not only sped up, but it has sped up drastically, specifically over the past 5 years. And it seems to be a common trend with things over the last 5 years kind of going out of control. But let me know down in the comments below if you've noticed this, and I know you have because I've heard more and more people, young and old, talking about it. Many will say that time speeds up as you get older, or that our perception of it changes. And while that's a known phenomenon, what we're experiencing now feels much more significant, as people of all ages are reporting this strange acceleration. I've noticed it even more distinctly since I retired last year at 39, after years as a project manager for a large corporation, where I was responsible for managing projects globally and had to be incredibly mindful of time, budgeting it, tracking it, and making sure everything stayed on schedule. I was very good at it, very accustomed to being in a flow state where time would just melt away as I focused passionately on a task. You would think that with all the free time retirement affords, no obligations, and the ability to do only what I desire, time would slow down, perhaps even drag. But it has been the complete opposite. Time has sped up dramatically and continues to accelerate every single day. Before, even with extensive international travel, sometimes 50% to 75% of the year, and a demanding job, I was able to manage work, maintain my property, care for animals, and tackle a huge yard that needed bush hogging and constant attention. Now, with theoretically all the time in the world, I still find myself scrambling, struggling to accomplish everything that needs to be done, even without the demands of my old job. Of course, I'm still productive and enter flow states doing new things, but the core fact remains: time flies by. I've brought this up to my parents and others, expressing my disbelief about how I ever managed it all while working. It genuinely feels like yesterday was 2020, and now, almost without noticing, it's already nearing the end of July in 2025. This passage of years, particularly 2025, has been so rapid that the memories blur, making it hard to recall events from what seems like just last January. So, I'm genuinely curious if you too are facing this bewildering phenomenon where time just rushes by, almost making us feel like we'll wake up one day and be on our deathbed, wondering where it all went. This isn't just a fleeting thought, it's actually quite unsettling because this accelerated pace raises concerns that we might indeed reach the end of our lives, perhaps 80 or beyond, suddenly asking, where did time go? What's even crazier is that this feeling seems to intensify with each passing day, prompting the question, where does it stop? Will we reach a point where time slips away so completely that we literally fall asleep and wake up 5 or 10 years later? It's a profound thought, and interestingly, there's even some science that vaguely touches upon this, like a recent article discussing how the Earth is subtly spinning faster, leading to record-breaking shortest days in history, albeit by mere microseconds. While it's a very real phenomenon, it begs the question of how such micro-changes translate into our daily experience, and whether other factors are intensifying this rapid passage of time. Especially over the last 5 years, this acceleration has been dramatic, not a slow build. It coincides with a period where the world itself seems increasingly chaotic, with conflicting information where up is down and black is white, leaving many feeling utterly confused as everything seems to be spiraling out of control. Stepping a bit further into the realm of possibilities, one can't help but wonder if external, more esoteric elements play a role. Consider CERN, with its ambitious projects that involve creating black holes, splitting atoms, and experimenting with travel at light speed, or even reversing time. Could these endeavors somehow be affecting our timeline or perception of it? Then there's the unsettling phenomenon of the Mandela effect, where collective memories of events or facts prove to be contrary to current reality. There are instances where deeply ingrained personal memories have been proven unequivocally false by the Mandela effect, which frankly blows my mind. It makes me question the very nature of reality and consciousness, and I can't shake the feeling that this collective experience of time speeding up must be connected to these other profound shifts. Alternatively, is it possible this is a form of mass psychosis, where our collective belief that time and reality are messed up is in fact creating that very messed up reality around us? It's genuinely difficult to pinpoint what's happening or even fully comprehend it, but I do believe a few major factors contribute significantly to this sensation. Chief among these contributing factors, I frequently discuss the pervasive influence of technology, the internet, and social media. When I spoke about the flow state I experienced in my past work, a state many of us enter when deeply engrossed in a passionate or critical task, I recognize that social media applications also deceptively induce a similar state. Immersing oneself in a phone, scrolling endlessly through content, often creates an unproductive flow state where hours can vanish in an instant, mimicking the rapid passage of time during deep concentration. This, I believe, is playing a significant role. If you are constantly absorbed by your phone, the internet, and social media, time will undoubtedly feel like it's slipping through your fingers. I can personally attest to this. There are many times when I open my phone, start scrolling or replying to comments, and before I know it, 3 or 4 hours have passed, which is truly startling because it feels like I just sat down moments ago. Beyond the immediate effect of screen time, I also think our continuous inundation with global information, the sheer volume of crazy stuff happening everywhere, contributes heavily. News from mainstream media and social platforms constantly bombards us, not just directly, but also through the narratives we collectively discuss and perpetuate. This constant deluge of often overwhelming information about things largely outside our control, global events, issues on the other side of the world, can make us feel helpless, yearning for peace, and wanting to disengage. This persistent fixation on micro-events, many of which are not productive for our personal lives, pulls our minds away from our immediate reality, potentially pushing us into a state akin to a dream. Just as time in a dream can feel incredibly long, despite only a few minutes passing in actual sleep, I believe this mental disengagement from our present reality can make real-world hours feel like minutes, creating the illusion of accelerated time because we are not fully living in the moment. It's an alarming thought, as if we're operating in some strange bubble, a fractured timeline where we've mentally checked out and time just bypasses us. Interestingly, this aligns with certain prophecies, with some religious texts like the Bible mentioning that days will become shorter in the end times. While I sincerely hope this isn't the beginning of the end, something undeniably feels different. Something has shifted in our timeline that is increasingly hard to ignore. This is precisely why such conversations are crucial. It's easy to feel isolated in this experience, fearing others might think you're crazy, but it's immensely comforting to discover we're not alone. Given that so many are sensing this, the next vital question becomes, how do we combat it? There has to be a way to regain a sense of normalcy, to slow things down. Logically, if technology and constant digital immersion are culprits, then deliberately distancing ourselves from these things is an obvious answer. I can confirm from recent personal experience that periods of ditching my phone, disappearing into the mountains for hikes, and immersing myself purely in nature, seeing the world through my own eyes rather than a screen, were the most effective ways to slow time down for me. Perhaps it's as simple as that, reconnecting with the real, tangible world around us. Another key could be resisting the pervasive hustle culture. While flow states are powerful and productive for focused work, intentionally breaking away to be truly present can significantly slow time and reground us in reality. I believe grounding ourselves in our present reality is fundamental. It's equally important to acknowledge that some things are simply beyond our control, and we must find peace in that acceptance. This doesn't mean giving up entirely, but rather reducing the stress and obsession over what we cannot change. Instead, our energy should be directed towards what we can control, our own lives, our own realities. We possess the power to shape our personal reality into whatever we desire, And this ties back into anchoring ourselves in our truth, rather than diluting our focus by worrying endlessly about global issues over which we have no sway. So please let me know in the comments if you've noticed this phenomenon, and if you plan to implement any changes to slow down your perception of time, because I truly believe that if we don't actively try to slow down this rushing timeline, we risk waking up one day to a world we no longer recognize, wondering where all the time went. And perhaps, the more I ponder this accelerating pace might actually be a potent message, a call to action. If we have dreams, goals, or ambitions, this swift passage of time is telling us not to wait. It's time to go after them, because apparently time won't be waiting for us. So, what are you waiting for?